The workplace transformation is really about a digital transformation, bringing your physical office into the digital realm, literally mirroring your brick and mortar with ones and zeros. And we see the workplace transformed as really having three sort of key pillars. First are exceptional and healthy workplaces. Exceptional in that they are uniquely designed for your employee populations. Healthy, meaning that they are safe and healthy places for employees to come and work, but also that the buildings themselves are healthy. There is a new focus on key environmental factors such as indoor air quality, and we see that as an important part of the overall transformation. Next are right fit real estate portfolios, and I would also say very high performing portfolios. So right fit meaning they have the right mix of spaces and locations, a variety of spaces, and high performing in that you're really exceeding those goals for utilization, energy efficiency, sustainability, cost effectiveness. And finally, ideal workplace experiences. This is really all about your employees and giving them the flexibility and the autonomy to craft an ideal work day where they're able to work in the times and the places that they're most productive while effectively managing and balancing their personal lives and their personal obligations. What about all of our facilities? What are we going to do with our space? How much do we need? How do we know what space we need? Some of the clients we talk to are making really drastic changes. We have a healthcare client that has reduced from 50 buildings down to just 16. They kept their 16 largest locations so they can still serve thousands of employees, but that's a huge change. They're going to a 2.5 to 1 desk sharing ratio. And I remember a couple of years ago, a 1.5 to 1 desk sharing ratio felt a little edgy. So 2.5 to 1 is a huge change. We have another client who was mid-acquisition when COVID hit. And as they observed their employees really adopting virtual work and having a lot of success with it, they completely rethought their headquarters strategy post-acquisition. And they ultimately moved their headquarters to a different location because it was going to be a better hub for that distributed workforce. So those are examples of really drastic changes. But the great thing about the hybrid workplace is you can make small incremental changes and still get a huge benefit. So on average, the lease and operating cost for a workstation is about $10,000 a year. So even decreasing your workspaces 1 to 3% can yield potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars in savings. We have a workplace planning guide that we're going to share in our handouts. And in that planning guide, there is a section around cost savings. And there is a workplace strategy calculator that I really encourage all of you to download and play around with, because it really proves out how you can make very small changes between your desk sharing ratio and your workspace density. How much square footage are you allowing per workstation? Pre-pandemic, the average was about 125 square feet. Today, considering physical distancing, we're looking at 200 to 250 square feet. But of course, the further out we get from the pandemic, that number is going to start to come back down. So you can really play around with those ratios, those densities, and identify areas where you can make very strategic decisions. If you can potentially maybe reduce some of your workstations and lease out that additional space, or maybe you don't renew that additional space the next time your contract comes up, or maybe you convert it all to collaborative space. In that case, you may not have a direct cost savings, but you're going to get a better return on the investment in that space because it's going to be more highly utilized. So a lot of ways that you can make small changes and really have a big impact. And like the previous example, it all really comes down to workplace data. The more data you have, the more strategic, and in this case, really even surgical you can be in the decisions that you're making. Rhonda, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, saving money with space is one way to save that money. It's, looking at your space, maybe reducing it. But another one is to ensure you're retaining those employees again. Make sure they're satisfied. And yeah, surveys are one way to hear about that, but sensors are also going to provide that data. You may have the person that never responds to the survey, never says to you that they don't like what's going on, but sensors can't lie. You're going to be able to put a sensor on these desks and really understand that utilization of, okay, no one's sitting over in these spaces. These spaces in this side of the building are always busy. These ones aren't. Okay, you can start to see desks that are popular or not. Well, what if you want to know why? You can ask the employee and they'd be like, I don't know, I just prefer to sit over there. They may be honest and tell you, I don't like the sound of the bathroom door shutting. Who knows? Either which way, you can also put those environmental sensors in those areas and really start to see, is there a noise issue or a difference between the popular spot and the non-popular spot? You look at some of those environmental issues that sometimes I don't even know why I don't like a space, and I don't realize that it's hot, or warmer than the other space. The other thing is really using those counters for your conference rooms. If you've ever had issues in the past, you're probably going to have them eventually in the future here too. How many people are really using that conference room versus I have invited 6 people, and only 2 show up. It's good to see some of those realistic expectations. So when you get these answers back through the data, you're going to be able to redesign or keep designing your space the way you are. So people will like to use it. You're going to be able to retain some of those employees that really appreciate how you're using your space and setting it up for them to be successful in their job and how they do it.